to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to talk about The Last of Us episode 6 and 7 because we missed doing 6 last week, so we're going to group them up together this week.
Yep.
But yeah, we're going to give our thoughts on both. Now, we do, when discussing these episodes, we do kind of lean into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen either of these episodes yet, or the show for that matter, do not watch the rest of this review. I'm warning you right now. Warning. And then, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk movies, we talk TV, we talk entertainment news and all that good stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button. Also, like the video. Like she said. And then comment down below if you watched either of these episodes and what were your thoughts. I feel like especially on episode 7, people had some thoughts on that one. A lot of people are really enjoying it. A lot of people had some negative things to say. But we'll get into it. And yeah, turn on the bell notifications for all of our future videos. So let's start with episode 6, and this was titled Kin.
Kin, yep. K-I-N.
K-I-N. So this will be Ken talking about Kin.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, this episode was kind of Joel reuniting with his brother, hence the title. I'll just go ahead and say that I enjoyed this episode better than episode 7.
Yeah.
I liked this new community that they showed us where Tommy's
it was a cool spot.
Yeah, it was just very scenic and much different than what we've been seeing with the communities and stuff. Like the other ones have been in dirty, dingy cities, and it doesn't look like they're really doing that well. And this one, it looks like they have their crap together, and it's definitely...
Yeah, they have a political structure. They've got schools. They've got movie theaters. They're going to watch movies. So and they got a pretty sweet setup there. Yeah,
it's definitely where I'd want to be.
It also goes to show you how far they've come as well, because they came from Boston. They're in, Colorado, I think.
Yeah,
Wyoming,
we're still trying to remember where they end up to find Tommy. But this episode was kind of Joel reuniting with his brother, and I thought it was kind of interesting because I feel like this whole time Joel's kind of been thinking that his brother, that something bad happened to him, that he's being held hostage, he's in some kind of trouble. But in this episode, you definitely see that Tommy's doing just fine, and he's got a wife. He's got a baby on the way. Yeah. He's doing good. So.
And that kind of, I feel like, rubs Joel the wrong way. Like he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think he wanted to have to rescue Tommy. I think he wanted Tommy to need him. So when he stumbles upon him and's like, he's doing fine, doing way better than I've been doing.
Right.
It kind of rubs him the wrong way a little bit.
Right. And rightfully so, he's lost everything, and so I think there's a lot of big feelings going on.
He's traveled the whole country. He's on the mission trying to deliver Ellie, but he's also been looking for his brother, and he's like, I've been out here looking for you, asshole, for so long, and you're just chilling here. It's like you don't even care about finding me. So
and there was one pretty I would say the most, I don't know, it wasn't really emotional, but I really felt the sting when Tommy was kind of just because your life ended doesn't mean mine has to. And it was damn, that's pretty
that's a rough thing to say.
Yeah, for sure. But he does go back later and apologizes, for it. But that was pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Heartless.
Yeah, it's easy to look at it on a surface level and just be like, oh, Joel's just being petty. He's jealous. His brother's got it all figured. But yeah, that really is kind of a dick thing to say.
Tommy was there when his daughter got shot and killed.
Yeah, just knowing everything Joel's been through. And then, like I said, the added, fact that he's been traveling the country looking for him. And
But it also kind of makes you wonder if there's still, some big things that we don't know about Joel. Joel and Tommy's relationship.
Oh, for sure. You can just tell every time they get around each other, it's like they've been through some stuff, and it's like Tommy doesn't want to go down that path anymore.
Yeah. And I do remember, I think it was the first episode, because that was probably the last time we saw Tommy.
Yeah.
Before everything, before shit hit the fan and they were still living their normal little lives. I believe their truck that they drove around, it had a veteran sticker on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were both in it or if just Tommy was in.
Well, I know Joel was. So
okay.
I'm pretty sure they were both in it.
Yeah, I think that they like must have served together, and so I'm sure they saw some, shit with that. So
yeah, they've definitely been through a lot together. But yeah, we have that whole thing in the community, and Ellie gets to know Tommy's new wife and everything like that. She like cuts her hair in one scene.
Yeah, gives her all new clothes and.
Yeah, and you have a little rift between Joel and Ellie at a certain point, and he almost, gives her to Tommy to take the rest of the way to where they're going because he doesn't feel like he has the strength.
Right.
He's kind of feeling like he's losing it at this point, that he's just not as sharp as he used to be.
We kind of see him start having what I think are like panic attacks.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so he's definitely, going through it.
Yeah, he's going through it. But then, Ellie just rejects that, and she doesn't want Tommy to take her. And then Joel ends up saying, all right, I'll go ahead and take you.
Yeah, it was kind of it was like, I don't know. Some of the interactions that Joel and Ellie have are like very childish.
They are.
Like even like coming from Joel, like it's like these little temper tantrums that they have with one another, and then it's over. And they're like, okay, fine, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Like,
I like the way they brush by it real quickly,
mm-hmm.
And just like, I'm taking you now. And not like let Tommy take her out and then he like maybe catches up to him. He's like, no, I need to do this.
Right.
Like they just, brush by it very quickly. But yeah, it does make it feel a little childish, a little silly.
Yeah.
When you're watching it. But they go, I don't know where they're actually going. I can't remember. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, but I think they go to like a school or something, end up getting ambushed, and then Joel gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And that's where we leave off on that episode. Joel's bleeding out. And seems hopeless. I mean, it really does seem like at this point, I mean, he's stabbed. He's having panic attacks. It's like, is Joel going to make it much longer?
Right.
Leaves off on a cliffhanger. I'd say overall for this episode, I thought this was a good episode.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I might have liked it more than 4 and 5, to be honest. Just on the whole, I didn't like that whole like city part. Like there were some cool sequences, with the big fat zombie at the end, but overall, I didn't enjoy that whole thing in the city. So I'd say this is a pretty good episode. I would give it a 4.
Yeah,
I'd give it a 4 out of a 5.
I think I would too.
Solid episode. Now let's move on to episode 7, and this is called this was Left Behind. And this is based on, I think, some supplemental like DLC downloadable content material that came with the first came with the first Last of Us video game. So this is basically Ellie's backstory with her friend, who's played by Storm Reed, who just feels like she's everywhere at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I first saw her. Well, I don't know. Was it Euphoria or was she in?
She was in The Invisible Man.
Okay.
So, and she was also in Wrinkle in Time. We never saw that. She's popped up in a lot. She's been acting since she was a little kid.
Yeah.
So.
I enjoy her for sure. So in this episode, we kind of get a little bit of Ellie's backstory.
Yeah.
We get to see her before she got bit. It was still after the, apocalypse or outbreak happened. You see where she's like in this school. And they're kind of training all these kids for like their assignments when they become of age, I guess.
Yeah.
And you see where she meets. She basically shared a room with
Storm Reed.
Yeah. So this episode for me was very slow.
Yeah, and you kind of, another thing I want to say, you kind of find out in this, and I don't think this is information we knew before, but Ellie was kind of being groomed to be like a part of Fedra, like some kind of like military officer.
Yeah.
You kind of get that little scene with her and the other officer at the beginning.
Right.
And then the conflict they're having is Storm Reed just joined the Fireflies, which is the opposing group.
Right,
so.
Because, you kind of find out too that Storm found out that she was going to have to basically be watching people shovel shit.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe she found that out, and then that's when that kind of gave her the push to go join the Fireflies. Because she's like, yeah, Ellie, like you might be doing this really cool assignment, but I'm going to be stuck, watching people shovel crap. So.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, like I'm still learning about all the different groups and their beefs with each other and all this kind of stuff. But you quickly find out that who Ellie is and then who the Fireflies are, like they don't like each other. like their enemies.
And that makes sense for going back to the first episode when you see Ellie and she's kind of captured by the fireflies and she's like flicking them off, and that whole scene now makes a lot more sense. You know, why they would be, you know, more at odds. But as far as the episode, I mean, it's set, you know, mostly in the mall. They're hanging out, they're having a good time, they're developing their relationship. The episode's okay, but like you said, it's just at this point in the show, I was hoping that things would be moving a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun, you know, to be in the mall and you know, see this abandoned mall, and you know, Storm had kind of created this little date for them to go through all these different you know, mall surprises. You know, obviously that they didn't really get to grow up and experience or whatever. So that was kind of cool, but it was just still a very slow episode. You know, and then of course, like you end up finding out that I guess Ellie is gay, and that it's more than just a friendship, it's a romantic friendship.
That's what I was going to ask you. How did you feel about that, about their relationship and how it developed? Did you buy into that? Because to me, and I'm not just saying this because it's a gay relationship on a TV show, it felt extremely forced.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Whereas the whole Bill and, I can't even remember the other guy's name.
Frank.
Bill and Frank's relationship did not feel forced to me.
Well, okay, so I will say this. I feel like, to me, it would have made more sense for Ellie to feel these emotions. I could buy in that Ellie felt that way towards her.
Yeah.
I felt like she was portraying, you know, having romantic feelings, you know, the way she would kind of look at her and, you know, Ellie's been kind of portrayed as like this tomboy. And so anyway, but as far as Storm goes, you know, when they have that moment where they kiss, where Ellie's kind of testing the waters to see if Storm feels the same way, you find out that Storm does feel the same way. But it's like, I didn't necessarily believe that she
would feel that way.
She would have. I pictured it going just a different way, where she was kind of like, Ellie, like you're my best friend, but I don't feel that way for you.
And that's kind of how I felt it was going, like at least the first half of the episode. It just felt like a really good friendship.
Right.
And it didn't feel like they started hinting at that kind of stuff until like halfway through the episode. By the time they started hinting at it.
Right.
And then they just went on and did it and had the kiss. I was like, this is just too much. Like it's just too rushed, and it just feels forced at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, I did see, like, I was reading things about it, so I kind of knew that they were going to go that direction with Ellie. You know, I feel like I say this every time we review the show. You know, we have not really played the games. You played a very small part of it.
And this could be in the game. I don't know if Ellie's gay in the games or not, if this is the whole sequence in the game. I don't...
I think, what is it, IGN? What's the game?
IGN,
Yeah. They always do a comparison, the show versus the game every week.
Those are really cool.
And like you said, I think it was like an added story, but like that does happen in the added story. So
just my whole problem with it is that this has never been hinted at the whole show, and it just felt like they were trying to cram in something like last minute to add some more depth to Ellie's character. And I'm sorry, I know you probably feel the same way too.
Yeah,
Ellie is just becoming more and more unlikable to me. Well, as a character.
It's funny because that's how I've felt the whole time.
Yeah.
I
thought she was a little endearing in the beginning, but at this point. She
has honestly just annoyed me the whole time. I was starting to warm up to her, but then I'm like, nah, like you still get on my nerves.
So a whole episode with her without Joel, because Joel's my favorite character.
And I mean, he's in it for like a smidge. We do get to see a conclusion of another one of those moments between them to where, you know, he's still bleeding out. Yeah. He, you know, is telling, which this part was very corny to me. He like grabs her by the shirt and he's like, you go, Ellie. You don't worry about
You're choking me here.
I'm sorry. You don't worry about me. You get out of here. And, you know, she goes, and then it like gives us a little flashback of her. Okay. So we like totally forgot the part where they get bit.
Yeah. So they both get, I guess we can circle back.
Yeah.
So they kiss, and then this whole time, they show this zombie that has come alive on the other side of the mall. Right?
Yeah.
So you have that tension, I feel like, for about 20 minutes where you know the zombie's coming.
Yeah, you're like, where is he?
Which you knew something bad was going to happen anyway. Like, you felt that pending doom, which is one thing I'll give credit to this episode. I think it did well. Is just making you feel that dread and just that pending doom coming.
Yeah.
But I did not like how they showed the zombie coming alive, and they took so damn long getting to it. I would have thought it'd been better if they didn't show the zombie, and then you just knew that something was coming, and then it snuck up on them. That's the way I think they should have framed that, because that to me it felt very generic for this show.
Gotcha.
I would just say I don't know that differently.
The way that they did it didn't really bother me. I did think that it took way too long for the clicker or whatever to find them, because whenever they showed the clicker, like they're always not awake. Always, it's like when they hear people or smell people or whatever, that's when they like come to life or something.
Yeah.
Whenever they showed him, you could hear Ellie and Storm talking. So that would imply that he was very close to where they were. And I mean, we went a good chunk to where they're doing all this stuff, and he still hasn't shown up. And I'm like, okay, where is he?
To be fair, he was all like vine strapped in.
Right, that's what you said.
It took him a while to get out of the vines.
Yeah, that's what you said. So I know you kept saying like they're making some very dumb decisions, which they're kids. I feel like it probably makes sense that they've
lived their whole life in this world. Right. They know what's happening, and they go off to this abandoned mall. And they're putting masks on.
Oh my gosh,
and they're fighting on the
Halloween
table with
store.
music.
Yeah.
It's just, you guys are so dumb. And it's like, it doesn't make me feel bad for them.
But like
when they get ambushed by a zombie.
The whole scene, you keep calling it a zombie.
Clicker.
They don't like when you say zombie.
Mushroom head.
I saw like an article, don't call it a zombie.
It's a zombie.
The whole part where they're on the counter with the mask on, I will say that gave me a little bit of anxiety, because I'm like, okay, he's coming. They're not going to be able to see. Yeah. So, but it didn't really. And
they were drinking too.
They were like some hard stuff. I don't know if it was like bourbon or whiskey. I don't know, something. Yeah. But yeah, just that whole scene. It didn't play out exactly. I think that they did take the mask off before it actually happened. They heard something, and then like you get this whole like 5 seconds to where you're waiting for it to come through.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It also kind of annoyed me that they both got bit, and during that whole scene, I didn't see any moment to where he could have bit them.
Yeah. This show likes doing that though. It likes to not show you the actual bite, just show you that somebody's been bitten. Like it's done that like 5 times by now.
Yeah. So
it did that with Tess. It did that with the little boy. It did that with both the girls. So.
And it's like, I could appreciate that this was kind of showing me how Ellie got bit. We got to see where she got her little pun book from. Like it came from Storm. Storm gave it to her.
Yeah. Which I thought she found that after she met Joel. But I guess she had it the whole time.
Yeah, she had it. It was one of her things, that she had. Yeah. But, once that clicker once we saw the clicker wake up, we knew, okay, like this is the story of Ellie getting bit. Storm's probably going to die.
And I'm sorry, but I think it would have been much more impactful if Storm would have just got like ripped to shreds in front of Ellie.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of weak that they just had her get bit, and then they were both just, oh, we're dead, we're dying together, and they never even really show you the aftermath of that. I guess it's implied.
It maybe it'll like pick up with it, or maybe they'll just.
I hope not. I'd rather not go back to that.
Yeah,
in the next episode. We only got 2 episodes left. Like they gotta make something happen in these last 2 episodes.
I've definitely been seeing where people are just very disappointed with the lack of like clickers and the action.
There's almost none.
Yeah.
Like there really is. Like we got some in episode 5 and then we got a little bit in this one.
Yeah.
But all of episode 6 there was nothing.
Yeah.
I think maybe there was one. I can't remember.
Yeah. But I mean, all in all, I told you, I haven't really been very high on this show since the beginning, and I feel like, my thoughts are aligning with how the show's turning out.
I can't argue with you anymore. I really can't. I'm kind of down on this show right now, and again, we only have 2 episodes left. I don't hate this show. I don't think it's bad.
It's just okay. Like
okay to good show.
Like I don't look forward to it every week. I'm not really excited, to find out what's gonna happen. It's just okay for me.
It's definitely not.
So what would you give
House of Dragon
this episode?
Quality? I would. It's not a bad. Again, it's not a bad episode. It was just a little underwhelming. I give it a 3. Okay. I give it a 3 out of 5.
I give it a 3.5.
Okay.
3.5 out of 5, which again is just okay for me. Like okay. Like I guess 3 would be okay, but I don't know. 3.5.
Yeah, but I'm still looking forward to seeing the last 2 episodes. I do want to see how this series ends. Hopefully, they can bring us back into it with the last couple episodes, and maybe leave off on a cool cliffhanger that gets us excited for the next season.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a big cliffhanger.
But there needs to be something that happens. Like there needs to be some big stuff that happens in the last 2 episodes, because this show has really been kind of. I hate to say it. I know it's a character-driven show. I understand that. It's not all about the zombies. Not all these types of shows and movies have to be about the zombies. I get that.
Clickers.
But you got to sprinkle a little bit more of that type of stuff to keep it interesting, keep it exciting for people.
Right.
You just do. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's our review of The Last of Us episodes 6 and 7. We'll be back next week, hopefully, for episode 8, or maybe we'll wait until the last 2 come out and we'll review them together again like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever we have time to do. But we appreciate y'all watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below your thoughts on these 2 episodes, turn on those bell notifications, follow us on our social media accounts down below. See you next time.
Bye, guys.